Lamont, I realize all that. But now the entire underworld has but one objective: to erase the shadow.
All greatness, the majority of greatness in itself doesn't come with goodness. The two don't coexist with one another. And all great men are not good men.
Just your power. Test your power.
He's one of the dopest engineers in the game. The head engineer exclusively for Prodigy of Mobb Deep. 10 Prodigy of Mobb Deep albums. The Hegelian Dialectic. The Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure, man. That body of work is crazy. I mean,
Joe the engineer. Now we do this shit, nigga.
333, 33, 33. That's a sign from the heavens. Just look up in the heavens, in the heavens. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Joe in that next room sparking. That next room sparking. That's a sign from the heavens. In the heavens, in the heavens. 3,
What the fuck is up? It is time to talk about some football with the homies whenever they decide to show up. And it looks like the camera possibly is a little bit clear. I don't fucking know. I don't know. We're switching back to Zoom though because Skype was pissing me off and Kerry Height has entered the Thunderdome right at the right time. Oh, we're looking so much clearer. Yeah, fuck Skype. We're going back to Zoom. It just looks so much better. It looks
much better. I look like a piece of trash on Skype.
Yeah, it looks infinitely better like this. We'll just have to deal with our little breaks and whatnot. It's good. What up, though?
Infinite done.
What up, though?
Yo, crazy ass week.
We're in upside down NFL world.
Oh, that too. Yes. Feel like everything's wilding out right now.
Well, I mean, all right. So some overall takes from watching 2 weeks of NFL football for now. Running backs don't mean shit.
Nope.
Don't mean nothing.
That's been going on for a few years now.
But even Derrick Henry is doing nothing so far.
I know.
Dalvin Cook doing nothing. Jonathan Taylor's doing nothing.
The best running backs in the league are the dual threat running quarterbacks.
And Nick Chubb.
Oh, no. We'll get to that game, but he had a decision to make, and instincts took over. Instincts and incentives.
I will take that on my fantasy squads, though. Thank you.
I mean, I get
Chubb
that.
Rock.
So I know he made a lot of people happy, but at the same time, reality squad is like, son, they ain't had no timeouts. What you doing?
He admitted today that it was a mistake. It's his
Good.
fault.
I'm glad he owns it. That's why I rock with him.
Well, yes, it is kind of his fault, but at the same time, who the fuck was covering Hobie on that go route?
You're right. Defense got to step up. That's ridiculous. Especially all that money you paid him. That's stupid. That's stupid.
Crazy. But, yeah, running backs don't really mean a thing. Wide receivers are now putting up video game numbers on a weekly basis. We will see someone catch 200 passes in a season sometime soon. People are going to be going over 2,000 yards receiving because it's only going to go from 17 to 18 games. So you could just expect more and more and more.
There it is. I was like, it sound low.
There we go. I had the fucking wrong dial up. Anyway, 2,000 yard seasons, 200 catch seasons. These things are going to start happening.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we're really close to let's see. The record is 148 by Reggie Wayne. Either 147, 148. So, conceive. And with the extra game.
That's what I'm saying. Kerry, eventually it's going to go up to 18 games. We know this. So
we are looking at a 200 reception season.
Yeah. I mean, look what Stephon Diggs just did.
And what it's going to turn into is the Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
Because then the running backs will just be other receivers who just also, from time to time, run it. It's going to become the Canadian Football League with a shorter field.
It's becoming fantasy football PPR leagues, dude, because you're even looking at running backs who get catches out of the backfield, so you guaranteed to at least get some couple points because these motherfuckers ain't getting shit right now. It's, like you said, the best running backs in the game right now on the field: Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray,
Josh Allen.
And they're all quarterbacks.
All quarterbacks. All killing it. Just saw a stat today that Josh Allen is already the third leading rushing touchdown scorer in Bills history. You got Thurman, you got the Juice, and then you got Allen.
He already scored more than Shady. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Already. Crazy.
Interesting.
And you know what, Lamar Jackson already has set the record for most 100-yard rushing games by a quarterback. And we're talking about in the history of the league when quarterbacks way back in the day, all they did was run.
Yeah,
So,
but ain't none of them run like that back then.
I mean, obviously, but I'm saying though.
So the other takeaway is there are some really good units,
Mm,
and there are some really, really bad ones. Let's see. Tampa Bay's defensive unit, especially the secondary, is incredible. That whole unit is playing at a historic level.
I thought because we did give him a lot of shit, especially early in his career, Jamel Dean. But now, I mean, and he's a bigger corner, and I do understand that. But once you figure it out, once you figure out your body, that big body at corner, you could be a monster.
Yeah, he's playing so well, so well. Winfield Jr. is an all-pro level safety.
I'm actually proud of him. I'm always down for the big dudes at corner. You know what I'm saying? So
the Eagles secondary, those corners are for real.
First of all, your man Cousins is a bona fide fucking idiot. How you keep going play as Slay Day? What has he shown you? He broke up every single pass you tried to throw.
He was running the routes before Jefferson was running them.
Running the routes before Jefferson. Come on.
He was prepared for that game.
And then you finally start going to Thielen. Irv Smith was open. Because then when you threw to him, he was open every single time.
We know how Cousins is, though. We know how Cousins is. That the week before,
and that's it.
The week before with 198 yards and 2 touchdowns, got him drunk. And Jefferson saying he's the best wide receiver in the league. I'm telling you, I texted you that because, man, Diggs took that shit personal.
Oh, I bet he did.
And they were both playing on Monday night. And you know him and John, they're so good, they can do whatever they want. Yo, let's get you like 203 touchdowns. Fuck him.
Especially Josh. That's his homie.
Yeah.
Josh loves him. And did you hear what Josh Allen say? He was like, oh, yeah. He was like, Diggs? Oh, easily, like, the number one, like, the best. He was like, the best in the league.
I told you, man. I knew it. I was just like, oh, this is personal for him today.
Like, the best ever. He was like, he's the best, period. I was like, wow, okay. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the quarterback. I was telling my boy this the other day. There are so many good quarterbacks in this league right now that when you just even have an average one, you are in the minority. If you have a shitty one, what is going on? There's so many good, really good, not just even good, like damn good wide receivers in this league, that if you don't have one, then something's up in the front office. Like y'all ain't drafting right because there's just too many of them.
Yeah, there's too many who can play at this level because they've been playing and running NFL offenses since they were kids.
Yeah.
There's no learning curve anymore.
Nope.
They come in ready. Justin Herbert broke the mold on it. You are now expected to come in on day one. That kid didn't even get to prepare as the starter. Mm-hmm. Taylor got a golf tee shoved through his lung literally like 11 minutes before kickoff. Oh, yeah, Justin Herbert, by the way, you're starting against the Chiefs. Yeah, they won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I know. Go win this game. And they did. And everybody was just like, I'm texting Carrie, like, are you watching this kid?
Oh, and I said, I was like, you're going to like this kid, Herbert. I was like, you're going to like him. And the G should have taken him. We'll see what happens. And then we've been seeing it ever since.
Some other observations before we get into some news, because there is some. Mm-hmm. Giants, G-Men, hey, that defense is looking pretty solid. Daboll's got them looking like a football team.
The Daboll effect.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's for real. That's for real. I imagine that in your mind, you're like, wow, if we had a real quarterback, imagine how good we could be.
Again, being one of the teams, seeing so many quarterbacks and not having one of them, I'm like, but it's okay, because I'm waiting for Joe Shane. Joe Shane already pulled maneuvers like Martinez. You know, I liked Martinez at linebacker. He was like, sorry, son, you're going to have to find another gig. Like, nah, how we're building this thing, you don't fit. And you know Martinez is a tackling machine. but they just have another way they playing right now. Because these guys are fast. They're trying to build a fast defense. I see it. It's a fast defense like a la 90s Dallas.
It's a fast league. You got to be fast now.
You have to. So like you could still have the neck roll linebacker in college, like at Penn State, but that's not going to work in the pros. It's not going to work.
Chad Powers, yo, Penn State. I told you that shit was fucking hilarious.
Oh my goodness, that shit was funny.
Eli is my favorite post-career quarterback ever. He is hilarious. I hated him when he played. Love this guy off the field. So funny.
It's not funny.
So funny. And that's how life goes. All the things that you hate the most, you end up embracing. That's the lessons that we're here to learn. I get it. Yeah, fuck those 2 Super Bowls. I don't care. I'll give you the one. You can have the second one, but that undefeated season, Asante Samuel, you motherfucker. You motherfucker.
Oh. And his son looks just like him.
Woo. Other observations, young corners are balling. So
Sauce Gardner.
We saw an influx of young receivers coming in and not having to have the learning curve because, again, they're running NFL offenses, option routes, combination routes, things like this in high school. Right. So wide receivers came in, Chase, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and just balled from day one. Keenan Allen. Like, these guys came into the league, Devontae Adams, and just started balling. Right? So now the corner.
3 seasons because he had the drop seats the first 3.
And now the young corners are now catching up.
Because they got to face these receivers.
Exactly.
And you like the 5 stars especially. You go into the same camps. You know what I'm saying? You're going on the same recruiting visits. You're doing the same, and then you're playing against each other most likely, especially if you're in state. So. You're trying to go to the same college so y'all can ball together. So then you're facing each other in practice all the time. Like, look at the LSU corners that had to go against Odell and Jarvis every day. Who had to go against Jamar and Justin every day.
Yeah, they're all balling in the NFL now.
All of them.
All of them. Every single one of them comes to the NFL ready to play from day one.
Absolutely.
So you're seeing a lot of young corners getting busy. Asante Samuels Jr. looks awesome. Stingley, Sauce, all these guys look great. A bunch of young safeties in the league who, all the best safeties in the league are within their first 5 seasons.
Super young.
So you're seeing a lot of young talent, even at the quarterback position. These young quarterbacks now, you don't even look at Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers as the best quarterback in the league anymore. Nobody does.
Right.
Even though Tom Brady led the league in passing and touchdowns last season and was one Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp completion away from going to another Super Bowl. But he's averaging 160 yards passing. Granted, they played against the Saints. He didn't have anybody to throw it to after Mike Evans got tossed. And they played against Dallas, and Chris Godwin still wasn't in the lineup. They're shuffling in multiple linemen. I get it, but he's not going to...
They still got Perriman, though. And
that
likes Perriman.
That throw shows you why he's the GOAT.
Perriman, I don't know, he's somehow figured out how to stay healthy enough. Brady loves him. I think he knows this, and he's like, I'll do whatever it takes in order to keep playing with this guy and be available for him, because he will get him the rock.
Yeah, well, especially because this happens throughout Tom Brady's career. Now, if there's any quarterback who is equipped to handle having absolutely no one at wide receiver, it's this guy. He's done this for nearly 20 years. He had Randy Moss and Gronk, and then a bunch of... We remember some of them because we're football heads. These kids watching football now wouldn't even remember any of them.
I know.
You think any of them know about Deion Branch?
I was just about to say Deion Branch. I was just about to say him.
You have to say him because he won a Super Bowl MVP.
David Patton, and he was also really good in college. He was like all conference. He was one of those dudes.
Troy Brown.
David Patton, R.I.P., former Giant.
Troy Brown, who played both ways.
Yeah. Yes, he did. yeah. Jabbar Gaffney.
Yeah, just a litany of Tom made you into somebody. He gave you a few years in the league because you caught passes when he needed you to.
couldn't exactly do it for Aaron Dobson or your favorite one, Kimbrell Tompkins, but you know.
Couldn't do it for everybody.
Couple legs when you make it now.
I mean, who was the kid from Georgia? Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm.
Only played.
Yeah.
He could.
He got hurt. I was like, oh, he got him one now.
Yeah, he had so much promise and then was gone.
That made me sad too.
After being a crucial part of a Super Bowl, because when Tom needed to get a first down, he went to him every single time. I was just like,
Malcolm Mitchell?
Yeah. Yes. I was like, damn it, this kid is like
out of Georgia, yeah. I was sad because I like that kid a lot. He is busy. He got busy.
Injuries taking toll already. I told you it looks like the Bucs are going to be the injury bug team because there was just so many of them on their offensive line happening early.
Oh, damn, and the Colts.
Well, the Colts look terrible. We'll get to them. They look absolutely terrible. I had to drop them in fantasy defense. They look god awful. Even on defense, they look terrible. They added Stephon Gilmore, and they look worse. Now, granted, Matt Ryan is just giving them the ball, putting the defense on their heels at all times, but he looks terrible. They look terrible. Frank Reich has... Listen, Jonathan Taylor, 5 touches going into the fourth quarter. Really?
Why is he even out there then?
Exactly. Put Hines in and just run him, throw it to him or something.
Yeah.
I can't for the life of me figure out why in the fuck, because they got Matt Ryan of all people who's 40 years old and they just start chucking the ball the whole time.
So obviously, and Rex Ryan said this and it was funny, but it's looking pretty true. Indianapolis is where quarterbacks go to die. Phillip Rivers, done. Who's like retired, done. Matty Ice Cream, that cone, done, been melted, is done. And unfortunately, Andrew Luck, we lost you too early. We lost you too early, my friend. I wish you were still playing. I mean, but yeah, you saw what happened to Peyton, and he had to move on. Then it got him another one.
Nah, it blows my mind how you have literally a MVP candidate, league's leading rusher, and he has 5 touches. 5 touches. It's a running back. You've got to get him in rhythm.
When all of your receivers are hurt, why are you not running it 30 times this game?
No, we're going to chuck it with Matt.
Where the Patriots ran it 1,000 times, and they won.
Yep. 1 pass attempt the entire game.
Incredible.
It was almost picked, and Bill said, nope, we're not doing that again.
Yep. Incredible.
So,
no excuse.
Yeah, they're an absolute dumpster fire. They're going to blow my 8-leg parlay. Thanks, guys. I can see it early. I'm getting raked in sports betting this season because it's just been absolutely upside down.
So I'm not even in that mix.
Dude, it's even betting on game props like Williams I texted you, had 11 catches in week 1. And you were like, wait a minute, Javonte Williams had 11? I'm like, yes, the running back. Williams had 11 catches. This might be a thing. Russ might be going to him. Clearly, he can catch out of the backfield. I don't even think he had 1 catch this week. It was Kerry, it was the bet, his over-under was 3.5. Oh, yeah, let's take that over. I don't think he had 1.
The Denver, I mean, we have established 2 of the worst play callers in the league, and obviously the Chargers head coach.
Hackett is god-awful.
This guy in Denver is just terrible.
He's lost.
I don't know what he's thinking.
He's lost. He's completely over his head and having to make this. He can't handle the pressure.
I don't know what's happening.
It's incredible to watch it happen in real time.
God, this is terrible.
Also,
when your crowd has to count down the play clock. What?
Kerry, so the biggest thing in sports talk after all that nonsense is the glaring lack of control that Russ has.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, $100 and some million, just pull the trigger. Call timeout, call plays, it's on you. Go win the game. That's why you're there. Clearly this guy has no idea what he's doing.
This is also a result of not getting that time in the preseason like you should, especially new team. You got to learn the guys. Everybody wanted to make the Broncos country. Let's ride. They all want to do these videos, but what we doing on the field? Because I've seen a few times, everybody's looking confused as fuck. So
completely.
Less videos, more video room to check this film out, see what the hell we got to do.
Kerry,
what the hell's going on?
Do you think that Russ is the most successful beta quarterback of all time? Because usually you have to be an alpha. There have been beta quarterbacks. You can tell they're not like leaders. They're really good football players, but they're not that dude. Russ is not that dude.
He's not a leader though. He is a leader.
No, I think he's a leader by de facto because he plays the leadership position. So he checks all the boxes on what you have to do to be a leader, but he doesn't exude.
I think he's like one of these leaders, like, come on, guys, we can really do this. We have them on the ropes. Like, and so people they're like, this corny mother.
Man.
If he wasn't as good as he was, this corny. Play with people like that, like, man, this dude, man, corny, but he's good though. So, whatever, man. Like, let's just go. I think that's what it is. And in this, even though it worked for 10 years in Seattle, I think that approach is played, and I think he has to be like more of a D-bag in this situation. He needs to be like more like an Aaron in this situation.
All right, so
how to get to where they want to go.
Let's play this game then. If you take a few quarterbacks, Tom Brady, clearly an alpha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson is a beta, in my view. Mm-hmm. And you put them in a different position, do you think they would still have the same locker room presence and leadership responsibilities, even though they're not the quarterback anymore? With Russ, no. Come on, couldn't you imagine your tight end or a wide receiver being like, come on, guys, we can do this. Shut the fuck up.
You old Rudy ass motherfucker, get your ass on the bench. You're like, nah.
LT, Tom Brady, there's certain J.J. Watt, there's certain players, they walk into the locker room and they just command.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
What you got to say? I'm listening. Yep.
Jim Brown.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
Even Larry Fitzgerald, who doesn't seem to be an alpha, commands the respect and everyone's attention.
You know who else? Barry Sanders. Quiet, but when he walks into a room, you're like, that's Barry.
God damn, that's Barry Sanders.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, shit.
So, the biggest story of the week, let's get into it. The 49ers get the biggest gift that the season could give them, and they don't even have to make a decision on Trey Lance because they were going to have to bench him anyway because they were not doing anything on offense. And he gets hurt. Jimmy G comes in, doesn't miss a step. Of course, he's playing against a terrible football team, so it's a good warm-up. Doesn't miss a step. The offensive line is going apeshit when he throws a touchdown. The crowd's going crazy. Jimmy G gets redemption. He doesn't even have to look over his shoulder, Kerry. It wasn't a benching. He's out for the year with an ankle injury, so...
What did I hit you up with as soon as that shit happened? I knew. But also, I said that one of the best free agent signings of the season was Jimmy G back to Santa Clara, San Francisco. Back to the 49ers. Because, you already heard, yes, they gave it to Trey, but they're like, man, whatever, say what you want to about Jimmy, he's still he knows how to run this offense, and Jimmy will be Jimmy from time to time, but at the same time, if you look at his body of work, when he's in, their winning percentage is high. Even though his stats may not reflect that, he just got that other kind of juice. And they rally, and at the end of the game when they won, did you see how excited everybody was? It was like their hero returned. Like, thank you, you saved us.
The exiled one returns, because remember, he wasn't even able to stay practice field until he signed the deal.
That's what I'm saying.
So, this is...
I know Debo was like, oh, thank goodness. Even Brandon Ayuk is like, oh, I'm going to finally get the rock.
I'm like, thank goodness, because I got Debo on my fantasy squad. I'm just like, I know he's not going to get the rock until Jimmy starts. I know it. And then Kittle's going to return, and then they're going to go on a run.
On a run.
And make the playoffs, and then they're going to have another decision to make. So I think that the Niners, in a half hubris, half we need to control Lance's own narrative about himself and build his confidence and make him the starter and give him all the tools and support, because our team is so good that we can do this with any quarterback. But this is the hubris of Shanahan and John Lynch, because if you look at their overall record, they have a losing record. So, yes, their teams do perform well, but not well enough to win. That one Super Bowl run kind of skews everybody's view on the overall picture that they've painted.
I will say this, though, too. I didn't choose the 49ers defense because of Trey Lance. I just felt like I didn't see enough, and I didn't trust him to not turn the rock over so that the defense is on the field all the time. So no matter how good these players are, they wear down. I've played on defenses like that a lot. No matter how good we were, it was like in the fourth quarter, our tongues are hanging out our damn heads. And it's like, whatever, man. And so now that you got Jimmy G back, this really helps the defense too, which now jumped from like a probably lower to middle of the pile to maybe top 10, if not more. So especially you got Greenlaw, and you already know. So I don't know, man, like the 49ers, I have not seen a team go from like, they're gonna miss the playoffs to now like, oh, they are in position maybe to get this division.
Yeah. Because
the Rams haven't shown for me to give it to them yet.
And we'll never know what the Cardinals are ever.
We'll never know what the Cardinals are.
And the Seahawks have it's Geno God, so
you were right. You had it right. The Seahawks. Right.
Seahawks.
So the Seahawks are gonna do Seahawk things.
So, I mean, what a gift! What a gift for this is literally they've gotten exactly what they needed, what they wanted. Trey clearly wasn't ready yet.
Did not have to make a move.
Didn't even have to make a move.
Trust. We do not endorse anyone getting in.
No, and Kerry, they actually got Jimmy at a cheaper rate than if they would have.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because he re-signed it at such a lower deal, so it all worked out in their favor.
This is the realest discount double check you will ever see.
Jimmy bet on himself, and it's going to pay off because he's going to do what Jimmy does.
Yep.
You know, so the other thing that the only thing that you could look at Trey Lance and say his ceiling, his possible ceiling is higher because we've seen Jimmy G's ceiling. We know what his is. His best performance, we know what you get out of him.
Also, we have to realize this kid, this child, has only played a handful of games in the last 3 years.
And most of them were at North Dakota State.
A handful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he wasn't going to come out the gate smoking. It just wasn't going to happen. This was going to be a very lean year.
Yeah.
He was going to take bumps and bruises, but he was going to learn.
Yeah, see, Pittsburgh is not so lucky. They need to switch to Kenny Pickett.
Absolutely have to switch to Kenny Pickett right now.
Money-making Mitch is and will be a very good backup quarterback.
Oh,
because in a half-a-game situation or maybe a spot start for one game, he's never thrown a pick six. He's not going to lose you a game. And he can run.
Mm-hmm.
So you can...
It's not going to win it for you.
Yeah, you can simplify the offense and only run so much and use his mobility, rely on a pretty solid defense. But the crowd is literally chanting, Kenny, Kenny.
You have Deontay Johnson, Claypool, the Rookster. You cannot... George Pickens, you can't waste them. And that is why Jimbo Fisher benched his other quarterback after they lost to App State, put in the other quarterback, and was like, hey, we got all these wide receivers that are dope and fast. And then what happens? Texas A&M wins. And he got it to the playmakers. You gotta have a guy who gets it to the playmakers, and that is literally who Kenny Pickett is.
We'll have to look at the schedule. I think they might go one more week with Pickett. I mean, with Money Making Mitch. See what happens.
Let's see who they play next.
That's what I'm saying. Tomlin is steadfast that Money-Making Mitch is a starter all year, but that's not going to happen because they literally look like they might as well kept Big Ben with the offense they're running right now.
No doubt.
You know, and
I will say this, because Tomlin, a.k.a. Mike Epps, he is old school.
very.
He's trying to say, like, now give this vet time. Give the vet time.
What I do like about this carry, though, is every single day where Kenny Pickett is taking reps with the twos and working on the sideline, him and George Pickens, who is also their third and fourth receiver, are working. So whenever he does get in, the best friend scenario is going to kick off.
Hell yeah.
And those two are just going to take off. I mean, I've already dropped Pickens because I'm not going to wait for this shit to happen. And Curtis Samuel was available, and I clearly see what they're going to do with him now.
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't grab him first. And you got him?
Yep.
But, okay, fine. You made the right move because I just didn't pull the trigger. Yeah, now that I see what they're doing with him and he's actually staying healthy, Curtis Samuel's now reminding people who he is and why he got drafted where he got drafted.
Yeah, no, I saw that happen, and I was just like, because, you know, week one is week one. It's a one-game scenario. We have no idea. By the end of week two, you kind of start to get an idea. Even if teams lost in week one and then they won in week two, you kind of start to get an idea of who they are, what their defense is like. You've seen the major injuries happen that are going to shape your season already. And you start to see who quarterbacks like, who they target the most. Like in Atlanta, Drake London is getting all the targets.
I'm targeting Pitts.
And Pitts is getting nothing.
Nothing.
So, and that's the other observation is tight ends are not contributing in the modern day NFL this season. They're doing very little.
Except Andrews and Kelsey. Gesicki got a little love is because they had to throw all the time. He's still showing that. He still has skills. He needs to...
Kerry, there's so many...
Miami, though. He's going to have to get out of Miami with this head coach because, you know, with the blocking responsibilities, he should come to the G's. He would help us out tremendously. We won't even ask him to block that much. And, like, if we're going to be running Daboll's offense, we could have him as a Knox.
So most of the modern day offenses are having, like, 4 wide receivers and 1 running back. You might not even really have a tight end. And even if you do, he's usually going to come out in the X position or in a slot somewhere. And so look at, like, Detroit.
Look at these tight ends that we named. Because even looking at Irv Smith just looks like a really big wide receiver.
O.J. Howard.
He moved really well. O.J. Howard is another one. That's what I'm saying. So you have these big dudes, these tight ends. Now, like Kelsey, Kelsey can do it all, but he's a crazy ill receiver. And the thing that separates Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittles is that they're all also great blockers.
Look at Waller is not getting any action early on.
Waller's getting nothing.
Hawkinson's getting nothing. Dallas Goedert's not getting busy. Like, it has been wide receiver centric through the first 2 weeks. And you're looking at, fantasies wise, you really have to look at third and fourth receivers because these motherfuckers are getting 2 touchdowns out of nowhere on every team. Like, so.
Duvernay. Who also, we got to start talking about Duvernay and his ill special team skills.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Kickoff returns in modern day NFL are pretty rare. So I saw that. I was just like, oh, interesting.
And he had one in his rookie year. We're looking at a guy who, and then they keep playing him back there. This is what Tim Brown said. Tim Brown was disappointed that more starting wide receivers, because if you're a starting wide receiver and you're a one, and if you were in high school and in college, you most definitely return punts and kickoffs. Odell did it at LSU, and you saw him get busy. And then a couple times in the NFL. Listen, of course we know Tyreek Hill did it, and then he was doing it when he first got in the league, and he was scoring all those touchdowns. They were like, we got to get this guy starting wide receiver shit. And then once he became a starter, then obviously they started taking it away from him. But you have to understand, he was still one of the illest in the game at doing it. And someone like him, he knows how to return kicks. So the likelihood of him getting injured back there is far less than someone who isn't used to having wild success back there.
You're preaching to the choir as a return specialist in college. If you know what you're doing, you're not the one who takes the big collisions. It's the linemen and the blockers who are taking the big collisions. You usually, more often than not, get ran out of bounds because you're trying to run wide and use your speed and angles and catch a cutback lane. So you're going to get pushed out of bounds and barely get touched anyway. So
Tim Brown will now forever be the last starting wide receiver, like last starting position player to have mad success also on special teams.
And if you're a really, really good punt returner, then you have an understanding of the physics, the speed of the gutters and the ball and angle and the timing so that you don't get lost in between the two. You can make decisions, catch it, and go.
And also, who's quicker or faster than the man they literally nicknamed Cheetah?
Nobody.
Wow.
That guy's. So that's the other power unit right now is, holy shit. I told you they have the fastest team in the league because Mostert's in there as their third running back. But
I
good.
knew Miami was going to beat Baltimore, even though the score, I was like, oh man, Baltimore's giving it to them. But then Miami found a way. I was like, damn, I was wrong on that. I really felt that they would. And then look at the end of the game. Cheetah, 11 catches, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. Waddle, 11 catches. Waddle helped me win my league.
Dude, they are so fast.
So fast.
And you have to look later in the season when northern teams, Buffalo, New England, anybody from the NFC, whatever their schedule is, that has to travel down to Miami in the humidity in the third and especially fourth quarter, that team is just going to outrun everyone. That's a very dangerous team just because they have all of the speed on offense.
They do.
They are so fast.
And despite how many points they did give up to Baltimore, their defense is better than that. And also, let's also remember, Lamar Jackson put up video game numbers and was ill. He had like an all-time game. I mean, he's the first quarterback in the history to throw for a 75-plus yard touchdown and run for a 75.
He had over 300 yards passing and over 100 yards rushing and lost.
This is what I'm saying.
He had a perfect rating through 3 quarters. He's been balling. He's been balling.
Yeah.
He's trying to earn that money.
Yes, he is. He's betting on himself yet again, and so he knows what he's doing. Rashad Bateman. As long as that kid stays healthy, like you saw him, like he's faster when people think he is.
Well,
and he is a playmaker.
You have everybody's passing focus is going to be on Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
So the safety's going to have to look at him. So these 2 wide receivers who are young and at this point not proven are going to get a lot of one-on-ones early.
Yep, and Bateman wins his matchups.
Well, Kerry, you know as a former corner and a former offensive player too that with a quarterback who could run like that, there are a lot of broken routes, and you're just running. They can't keep up with you forever.
And you can end up butt ass naked open, and then you just like this, doom, doom, doom. And that's why I've always told young receivers, never stop moving. If you're not hit on your route, then look back because something's going on and then help your quarterback out and find an open area. You can't stop moving like, well, I've run my route and here's where I'm supposed to be. What's that doing? You got to keep it moving. You keep moving and your yards, your receptions,
your yak.
Everything good happens.
Lots of yak. So this is the end of section 1 of Gray Matter Week 2. I will send you the Zoom link, and who knows, maybe nicer Roger Harper might pop in. I doubt it. You know what? Let me play some music in the meantime while we take our first break. I kind of like Zoom better because it forces me to take breaks. Yeah, man, I just got that picture.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the homie, Roger Harper. Roger Harper will not be coming in tonight.
Tonight. Celebrating some good shit.
Yeah, that's dope as shit. I literally just checked my phone. It was just like this. I was like, it's taking Kerry a little bit longer than normal. What's going on? And
Yeah, 'cause I was like, oh, okay. All right.
yeah.
No doubt. Do your thing, homie.
Congratulations, homie. That's awesome.
Salute.
All right, so let's get into some game scores from week 2. Let's see. I don't know which games I watched. See, football fans would have liked the Bucks and Saints because those two teams hate each other and they were fucking going at it. The casual fans would have hated that game because those offenses couldn't do anything. Superior defenses, though, and the hatred is like watching Pittsburgh and Baltimore back in the day because you knew there was going to be a fight. Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore fucking hate each other.
Clearly, it is so clear. But it's funny. It was funny watching Mike Evans' interview, and someone tried to bait him into like saying some slick shit, and he was like, you know, we're always competitive, and it's highly competitive. He was like, but I felt like he crossed the line when he like threw a punch. He threw a smacker like Lenny, you know what I'm saying? He was like, and that I can't stand for. It's like, wow, I like the way you played that because you know in your heart of hearts you cannot stand this motherfucker, and you just like, oh, you hit my man's? It's go time, and like he just charged straight at him. It was like all the hatred from all the past breakups.
So, if you watch the clip after the play, Mike Evans looked at the referee and said, "It's Tom Brady. What am I supposed to do?" Valid point.
Also that, and Tomas Brady will never forget this.
Ever. And, you know, Tom did turn around and say, "Shut up, bitch."
Yeah, he does. Listen, Tom Brady starts more shit and gets away with it because he knows all of these monsters are going to have his back. He's never going to get caught up in the melee, but he's always going to say the slick shit to start the shit.
Yo, I would have loved to have had Tom Brady mic'd up for that Super Bowl run when he had Sue on his team because is anybody going to say anything to Tom Brady with Sue on the other sideline? He's proven that he will hurt you.
Yeah, he had Sue, JPP, Shaq Barron, Levante David, Devin White. Nobody's saying anything.
Even now, their defense and
Junior.
my guy Joe Tryon, I called him out in the draft 2 years ago. I said he's there to replace JPP. He is in year 2 is getting busy. It's kind of easy to get busy when everyone else on the defense has already been to Pro Bowls.
This is truth. Where is JPP?
I do not know, but he's not in Tampa anymore. So I know he's got to be playing somewhere. He's got to. And if not, he will be soon. Cole Beasley is now playing in Tampa.
Is he?
Yes. Tom Brady said, "Bring me a bring me a quick white guy to put into the slot, please."
He was like, listen. He's like, I'm missing some guys. I need more midget white boy receiver. That's what I need.
They tried Scoots Miller and too many drops.
Yeah, come on, Scoots. You got one job, buddy. You got one job.
So
you don't even have to be fast. Just be quick and have hands.
I'm guessing that Tom called Julian. He called Danny Amendola, and they were both like, "Nah, done. We're done, son.
They done.
I'm done.
You know, Giselle would not allow him to call Welkers.
So he said he called a couple of friends.
There.
Which moderately quick, small white guy who can catch passes is available?
To let me pray to the altar of Wayne Corbett.
And then all of a sudden he heard his oldest son Jack playing Cole Beasley's rap album from his room, and it was a side.
Oh man.
It was a side. That's all it took. Bars. So
Bars.
Thursday night, this was an easy pick for the football brains in us. Chiefs. It was in Arrowhead. They're going to split. Keenan Allen was out. We saw everything that we're going to see from both of these teams all season. The Chargers are not really running the ball. They're not using Austin Eckler a lot in the early run.
So then they need to use Joshua Kelly. Like, then use somebody. There has to be the threat there. You have to have that threat.
They're kind of looking like Buffalo.
I will say, Mike Williams did step the fuck up.
Yes, he did. And they do have other fourth and fifth receiving options who can play. Palmer is okay.
As a third receiver stepping into the starting position, if he didn't have that touchdown, he had a dud game. And the touchdown, if you have him on fantasy,
AJ Guyton can pop up every once in a while. They did bring in Gerald Everett, who is playing well.
Now, but he was so gassed, and he didn't even attempt.
He didn't. He was gassed because Parham Jr. is still injured, and I don't know who their other tight end is. So he's supposed to have been the number 2 tight end, is now being the number 1, and is playing a lot in an offense that just runs up and down the field.
Yeah, he was super gassed. He was like Mike Tyson looking for his mouthpiece after he got knocked out by Buster Douglas. That's how gassed he was, because he was looking for his mouthpiece on the field while homie was scoring the winning touchdown.
Coming from a place where he played with Russ, who routinely gets delay of game penalties and constantly runs the game clock down to the last second. He's one of those guys. So
he's relaxing for most of the clock.
Yeah. He's not used to this shit. We're going to see these two teams in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I expect nothing else. Herbert balled out. This dude is incredible. Mike Williams got busy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is now being featured more as a receiving threat.
But also check this out, though. Because this was more than all X's and O's. You also have to know that Patrick, my homies, was listening to all this talk about Justin Herbert and how the Chargers were poised to take his division and how Justin Herbert is the shit and is probably going to win MVP. And he said, and then Chiefs wasn't supposed to be shit because Cheetah bounced, and then Cheetah was talking all that shit about Tua and being better accurately. So my homies heard all that and was like, all right.
Yeah, he says, watch this, but the problem, and I hate this, I'm beginning to hate this. My favorite player to watch in the NFL right now, and it's going to be for a very long time because this dude is amazing, happens to play for a team that is one of the 4 horsemen of the NFL apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they are cursed, and they blow games late, and they always will.
Yep.
It's a tradition. They cannot break it. It will always happen. They have had Hall of Fame players. They were 14-2 one year and blew everyone out, and still, when it mattered, playoff time came, blew the game to the Patriots. It never fails.
I remember because they played the Giants that season, and Phillip Rivers could not wait to face the Giants and Eli. And he and LaDainian Tomlinson got absolutely busy. LaDainian, whoever had the old sticks, was hitting the B button because he was straight spin cycling every defender on the field. It was disgusting.
Yeah, so unfortunately this is going to be a recurring theme. Maybe you think he's so talented he can break that curse, but it's the Chargers. I think until their ownership gets rid of them, they are going to be. It might be an ownership curse.
Like the ownership, like this Greek mob shit, like this ain't going. They throwing plates at each other right now.
It's in L.A., so Bezos should buy them.
Should. I know he wants to buy something.
And you got
Washington.
Yeah, I know, but this is in LA, and you've got the golden child as your starting quarterback. He's more marketable than anybody right now. So, game that I'm mad that I didn't switch because I'm so mad at how they performed in week 1 that I just picked the Steelers anyway, and I should have known better. The Steelers won by having a blocked field goals, special teams touchdowns, interception returns for touchdowns. That doesn't happen every week. Prisoner of the moment, and I'm mad at the Patriots for playing so poorly. We still have nothing but number 3 and number 4 receivers on the roster. Hunter Henry, not involved. Jonnu Smith, not involved. Nobody's involved except Jacoby Myers. Awesome. This is great.
But Aguilar had a game.
He had a catch.
He scored a touchdown.
He had a catch.
Harris, 71 yards and a touch.
No, they can run the ball, and their defense is pretty solid. And Mac Jones can play. He doesn't turn the ball over. But there's nobody making plays.
Right.
You're
right.
There's no – and look at what –
How about this? At least they got rid of N'Keal Harry.
Who went and got hurt again. Yeah, so –
Got hurt again.
So the Steelers lose at this game against a subpar Patriots team at home. Only makes the calls for Kenny Pickett louder. It's going to happen by week 5. We called it. We said week 5. They'll go 4 weeks.
So listen, I'm probably not even going to pick the Steelers again until they get Kenny Pickett in there.
And then it'll be a shot of energy because he's not afraid to go down the field. Like,
not at all. And his former receiver at Pittsburgh, who won the Biletnikoff Award, I'm just forgetting his name, but then he transferred to USC, so he could play with Caleb Williams, and then he is a baller. He is a baller. I don't know why he didn't come out, but when he does come out next year, it's going to be him, and there's another crop of receivers that's growing in the college ranks but Kenny Pickett, like those two, like when Kenny Pickett rocks with a guy, and this is going to be George. My point is George Pickens
about to get busy.
Once he gets in, here we go.
Yeah, I had to drop him. Too many moves to make, man. Started off 0-1 in both leagues that count. Jets somehow. I wish Nice was here for this. I don't even know how they won this game.
That didn't make no damn sense.
Like,
let me say, in an era in football where the onside kick is a literal joke, like, that shit ain't gonna work. And in an era in football when you should not be able to come back from 2 scores like touchdowns within 90 seconds.
With no timeouts.
With 0 timeouts. For a perennial bad franchise. On the road. None of that makes sense.
This is karma. This is what the Browns get.
Joey Flacco.
No, this is what the Browns get for signing Deshaun Watson to a guaranteed contract like that.
We're talking karma.
This is what they get. They need to.
That dumbass elf in the center of the field. I don't even know what that's. If they thought that was bringing them luck, it's opposite.
So fantasy football trends continue. Kareem Hunt 1 week, Nick Chubb the next week in the end zone. That's just how it works for them. That's just how it works.
Also, because Joey Flacco was the quarterback, I almost did not drop Corey Davis. Started him, touchdown, got me just enough points to win. So, like, with Joey Flacco in the mix, they joke on him, but Joey Flacco, what do you have, 4 touchdowns?
Yep.
We know one thing about him. He still knows how to throw that thing deep.
Yeah, he'll throw it down the field.
And the rookie receiver they got,
Wilson.
Garrett Wilson was eating. So it's like he's taking over what Elijah Mitchell was supposed – not Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore was supposed to be the number 1 receiver, but he wasn't even really involved that much.
Nah, because Joe Flacco likes to sling it down the field, so he's going to throw it to the young guys who can run fast.
Dang it.
This is what the Browns get. Good for the Jets. I mean, good for them. The Browns deserve to lose this because of being up 13. The other team has been in a position to win when Chubb doesn't just take a knee. and then being up 13 fucking points. They have 90-some seconds left with no timeouts. You give up a bomb. It looked like Ravens over the Broncos in the AFC title game.
Oh, yeah. Simmons, yeah.
You see, Joe Flacco is just going to... He will sling it, but neither the safety and the corner, nobody decided to cover him. Easy touchdown.
Corey Davis is like, getting me.
Carry, one play score. And then all of a sudden, if they had timeouts, they'd have kicked it off and played defense.
So then they laid it on. They didn't even prop it up. Laid it down. It was the punter, and he was like, "Oh, watch this. Kick that shit." They recover and score another one.
They deserve to lose that. Nick Chubb got me the fantasy victory, though, with those 3 touchdowns and getting busy. Because it was a Nick Chubb week. Next week will not be a Nick Chubb week. It will be a Kareem Hunt to score touchdowns. That's just how the Browns operate. They're both going to get 70 to 80 yards each. It's just they alternate in scoring. You get to experience that, not so much because of the suspension coming up this week, but with Mike Evans, he's getting to the end zone one week, and he's not scoring the next week. It is literal guaranteed, dude. So you have to, flip his starts.
I know I got to, hold out on. I know. But I will say this also. Now, this is also let's talk coaches, right? This is like Stefanski. He got the team. They like him. Robert Saleh has the team. When he said, "Oh, I'm keeping receipts," and then he got clowned on SportsCenter for saying that, everybody was like, the Jets rock with him so hard, those players, especially a lot of them young, and they're like, "Yo, this is our coach. He's running stadiums before every game. Like, we see how hard he works. Like, yo, we coming with it." And Joe Flacco, weirdly enough, he's the right veteran presence for them. Because he's played with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, 2 of the greatest leaders in the locker room that this game has ever seen. Some of that's going to rub off a little something.
Did he get to play with Steve Smith too? Was he still? Yeah, I would say there was another guy who, when he walks into the locker room, everybody's like, "All right, oh shit,
absolutely."
Steve Smith's in here. Fuck.
That shit rubs off, and he's a Super Bowl champion. You know what I'm saying? So this team, Robert Saleh, he has some, they just the injuries on the line, and
they also played the Browns, so let's not get it too ahead of ourselves.
I mean, I also understand it, but I'm just saying they could have still laid down on the road and did it.
True, but Joe Flacco doesn't. He's going to throw it until the very last second as far as he can. So it just worked out this time because the Browns.
That's why I'm saying that this team actually should be continued to be led by Joe Flacco.
They won't. They're the Jets. They'll put the young kid in whenever he's healthy and make mistakes. So fantasy quarterback game of the week. Well, not really, but continual for the rest of the season. These 2 quarterbacks are going to be cheap and put up big numbers. Commanders and Lions. Jared Goff is getting 4 touchdowns a week. I got Amon St. Ra in my NFL league. He
off in one of my leagues.
Yeah, getting busy. But see, this is another one that I should have switched, but I thought the Lions. See, this has let me know that the Lions are for real, because I thought the Lions being favored for the first time in 27 games. That's more than...
Oh, they were favored?
They were favored for the first time in almost 2 full seasons.
Oh, I didn't know that. Washington was favored.
Nah.
I chose the Lions after I saw that fight against Philly. I was like, their game, and I heard that this Hard Knocks was one of the best Hard Knocks ever in history, which I haven't seen yet, but I will go watch it now. And I did text you. I was like, I'm going to have to start paying more attention to these.
Yeah, I know.
I love this meat biting ass fool, Dan Campbell, and the way he feels about them, they feel about him. And so I was like, man, I think they win in this one.
So this just proves that they're for real, because I thought being favored for the first time, they might crumple under the pressure, which is what I bet on. And then I thought that Carson Wentz would have a good game, which he did. 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. Carson Wentz has been getting busy. But the other thing that it also proved, St. Brown is an absolute fucking stud. He led the game in rushing and receiving, put up 40 fantasy points this week. Just absolute beast.
I mean, he has to be, at this point, the most underrated player in the league.
Easily.
Because no one's really saying. I saw him sitting there multiple times, and I was like, do I get him? I was like, have they even established who their number one receiver is yet? I felt more comfortable getting Hawkinson than him, but now I'm like, yeah. And then I did grab DeAndre Swift where I could, because he will also benefit from getting catches out the backfield, and DeAndre Swift is good.
Yes. Well, this is one of them that I will proudly say I told you. So I called St. Brown coming out in the draft. I said, listen, I saw highlights, and he just looked different on the field against he just looked different. I was just like, he looks like one of those players that was too good for college and didn't get utilized. So he didn't have massive numbers. Yeah. And he stepped in from day one, and he just looked different. I was just like, oh, he's so fluid. He's so shifty. Did I think he was going to be doing this? I don't think anybody did. But I knew he was going to have NFL success because you could see it. He moved differently than everyone else around him.
You were right about him. I just hadn't really seen that kid a lot, like really at all. So
I didn't see that much. I just saw some video, and I was just like, oh, shit, this guy's different. You see it, Kerry. You see when somebody's just different.
I told you, I'm going to start watching him more now. I'm going to really start paying attention.
Oh, he's for real.
And then, homie out of Michigan, first-round draft pick DN with 3 big sacks.
He did get an injury, though, so he might miss some time. They don't know. We'll see.
How injured?
We'll see. It's the NFL. The injury report's always a mystery to me.
No doubt. You're going to start chanting, Hutch is clutch.
Yeah, so the Lions, we called it. They're going to be a threat. They're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. Bucks and Saints, we talked about. This was an absolute slugfest. This is for the big guys to watch, the up-front guys who play D-line and O-line. This was for them. Tom Brady. The 2 quarterbacks proved who they are in the fourth quarter. Tom throws a dime for a touchdown. Jameis Winston throws a pick, 6. Yep. And that was the game. So we don't really need to...
Jameis reverted. He reverted to old James. He reverted to crab legs. I feel like in this moment, this is where Sean Payton was missed the most.
Yeah, because he just kept... I watched the whole game because it was a Tom Brady game. He literally was just chucking it downfield to Olave the entire game. Olave had like 12 targets with like 3 catches or something.
Because Olave's the fastest cat on the field, and he's just like, oh, shit, I got him. And I was like, and this is what, so you have...
Not against that secondary,
I'm not getting in, because if Kamara's in, obviously, receiving throughout the backfield. And then you're not even looking for Thomas?
Yeah, I got Thomas is my guy. He did get in the end zone and get some points.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, man. Thomas will set up Olave. Olave is the type of cat who should have 3 or 4 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown.
So
that type of dude.
Michael Thomas is like a running back who plays wide receiver because he has to. It's a volume thing with him. You have to get him into the game.
Saying. Olave should only have 3 to 4 catches for multiple yards, but Thomas should have 10 to 12 catches for like 90 to 112. Olave could have 3 catches, 4 catches for 150 and a touchdown, but Thomas is the one who's supposed to have anywhere from 10 to 15 catches for like 90 to 110 yards.
So what this game proved was that the Bucs defense is absolutely fucking for real. We know that, and that's about it. The Saints, Alvin Kamara can't be not. He has to be on the field for them to be successful. So if he's not on the field, but the funny thing is, we all picked New Orleans because Tom doesn't beat New Orleans, right. And they were giving it to him again. New Orleans had every shot to win this game. Jameis lost in this game by just constantly chucking the ball down the field to Olave against
the fight, like they were fired up. Tom was determined not to. TB12 was determined not to lose
Yeah, it's just another TB12 game. Your guys, the Giants, are playing extremely well, 2-0. Baker, they are calling for his head already, saying when Sam Darnold gets healthy that Baker's going to be benched. Listen, it's not Baker's fault. That team's just not any good.
Baker did not lose that game.
Yeah, that team's just not that good.
It's clear. Baker did not lose that game.
So the Panthers are 0-2, and they have lost on game-winning field goals that were 57 yards in week 1 and like 53 this week or something. The Graham Gano with the bomb to win it, right? So
The former Panther, yeah.
So
And what did I tell you? What did I tell you? I said the only Giant I really wanted this year was Graham Gano. And why did I say that? Because the best chance we have for scoring will be field goals.
So the Panthers are literally like on the verge. They're so close.
I've been saying that too, because they got ill players on defense. They have players. They do have players. It makes me so incensed. So it's like partly Matt Rule too, because I'm like some of the play calls. I'm like, what are you thinking of?
He's going to be gone. He's going to end up at Nebraska.
He has to end up being. I think that would be a great place for him to end up. He's not like a bad coach. He's just not an NFL coach yet. And I don't know if he'll ever.
Nah,
I don't know if he'll ever be.
He should stay with the kids.
He's with the kids because he knows how to turn college programs around. He's proven that time and again.
So a game that, you know, the true NFL savants in the two of us, this was a slam dunk. I don't know what, if you didn't pick this game, you're an idiot. Colts going to Jacksonville. This is their kryptonite times a million. This was the ugliest performance I've seen from an NFL team in like a decade.
This was the easiest game to pick ever.
Yeah. They suck against Jacksonville. They suck in Jacksonville all the time.
Whether Jacksonville is in Jacksonville or in London, it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if Jacksonville's any good. It doesn't matter.
It was so easy. So easy. So easy.
I don't know if Jacksonville's defense is actually any good or if the Colts are just really this bad. Right. Now, mind you, Pittman was out for some reason. They get down early, 17-0 at halftime, and then they just abandon the run completely. They had already abandoned it at that point.
If you're only 17 points down, you have and you have an entire half. Okay, here's this basic logic. If a team scored 17 points on you in the first half, and you have a whole second half, you could still run your offense. You could still run the rock. They'd still play good defense, and then still get your ass back in the game.
Yeah.
I've seen Tennessee Titans do this multiple times when they were down 3 touchdowns. Obviously, they have King Henry, but then they came all the way back. They were determined, and then what did that do? That helped the quarterback because then he was able to connect on big plays down the field with a tight end or a wide receiver for a quick touchdown because they stayed committed to the run.
Trevor Lawrence has improved. This is good to see.
As I said he would under Doug Peterson, because Doug Peterson helps quarterbacks this way.
Yeah, he has improved. So we will they have pretty good defense. Like we predicted, they are going to give teams fits all year long, especially going down there late in the season. It's going to be problems. They play physical.
Jacksonville will not be easy out this year.
Yeah, this is a speed league, so Tennessee proved it for the last couple of years. If you can out-physical everybody, then you can be successful.
Look at Christian Kirk, 2 touchdowns. Nobody was checking for Christian Kirk like that.
Well, he got all that money for a reason, and looks like he's stepping up, so good for him. He's earning it. It's Trevor Lawrence's guy.
Also, he's their new DJ Chark.
Yeah. Yeah, Dolphins and Ravens. What a retarded football game.
So I picked the Dolphins, and I'll be honest, because I saw the decimated Ravens secondary, even though they played. But I was like, if you were already questionable and you're going against the 2 fastest receivers in the league, you still lose. Like, I don't.
470 yards and 6 touchdowns, though, Kerry.
That's what nobody had Tua putting up those. Nobody. So if you started Tua, congratulations. You win.
just retarded. Those two receivers are so fast, and you can't. Waddle is so fast that you can't just be like, you know what, we'll double team the cheetah and then we'll just deal with Waddle.
Yo, let me tell you something.
These guys could run.
Cheetah doesn't give anybody speed credit. But when he got to Miami and he saw Waddle, he was like, oh yeah, he fast. He was like, yeah, I didn't know. I heard about him and I saw him and he's like, oh, he fast. So if Cheetah's saying you're fast, Cheetah doesn't give anybody credit for being fast. If he say, I think it goes beyond them being teammates too, because the way he said it, he was like, oh, he fast.
Oh, they're so fast, dude. They are so fast. They are going to be an absolute problem, as are the Ravens.
Actually, is Breida the starter? I mean, I'm sorry, not Breida.
Edmonds is the starter.
Is he?
Yes.
Huh. No, the other one from San Francisco.
Mostert, he's the third down back.
He's the third down back.
They just need to get him on the.
That Mostert should start. I mean,
no, I think they just need to get him on the field more.
Okay.
I don't think he's your number one back.
On there, like specifically for third down. Maybe get him on some second down.
Yeah, get some Debo-like packages in there where he's coming out of the backfield, setting up into the slot. You know, he's too fast not to be on the field.
Right.
Especially with those two.
Like they really feel like Chase Edmonds is that dude?
They just don't have that dude.
Well, they had the other guy. What happened to Myles Gaskins?
Is he still there? He might still be there.
Because he was doing work for them. I mean, he got hurt, but he was like, when he was in, he's a big dude. I think that UCLA, he was doing work.
Yeah, your best ability is availability, though. Baltimore is going to be a problem because it looks like Cincinnati is trash. So they had the worst offensive line, but we'll get to them.
This is Lamar Jackson. Like, we're talking about a motivated man trying to say, I deserve $252 million guaranteed. So watch what I do, bitches.
So could you imagine that the fantasy was that Tua would suck this year and then Lamar would end up in Miami, which you see what's happening in Baltimore. Since Lamar is such a threat to run, the secondary has their eyes at least in the backfield to see if I have to come up and try to contain this guy once he's at full speed, right? Could you imagine you having the two fastest players in football with the defenders who have to take a look into the backfield? It's just, and he's got a huge arm too, huge arm.
I've been saying that. Like, people thought Lamar. I was like, Lamar in Louisville was throwing 70-yard passes.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all. Like, I watched him because he was in the same division as the Cougs. Even though we beat him because we sacked him 6 fucking times.
Huge arm, though. Huge.
But he's always had a big-ass arm since he was in college. I was like, oh, y'all don't know about him. Y'all don't know about him. That's the thing. He ain't no running back playing quarterback. He is a legit quarterback who also has running back skills. That's also like a Justin Reed playing hella safety, but also he can kick that thing. So be multiplicable.
I would imagine that Justin Reed gets signed in New England after this season, after Bill Belichick saw that versatility.
Because he saw him as both his next kicker, who doesn't miss, his next Vinatieri, and his next because you know what? You know Twin has to leave soon. McCourty has to leave soon.
Yeah.
He has to retire, but I have to say, I got to give my flowers to McCourty right now.
Yeah, that's a Patriots Ring of Honor player.
He is an all-time Patriot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Easily.
Like, this dude, and I got to say, I throw his ass in the Hall of Fame, no doubt.
I wouldn't. I'd like it to be.
Friends. I would say he's French, but I'm just saying.
That's why I say, like, Patriots Hall of Fame, easy, without question. Does he, if he gives you the same numbers and the same performance, but is not part of winning fucking multiple 6 Super Bowls or whatever he got with Tom?
When I'm saying, you know how the media is, and
I'm a Patriots guy. I think
But they're going to stump that. They're going to look at how many Super Bowls, and he was there for quite a few.
I just think that the Hall of Fame should be, like Dion said, it's getting a little bit watered down. The Hall of
You're
Fame
right.
should have
You're
been
right.
for the greatest of greats.
Sure.
You know, if you win one Super Bowl as a head coach, you shouldn't get into the Hall of Fame immediately.
Right. I agree with you. But I'm saying, though, they're going to look at this. This is the criteria they're going to look at. They're going to look at how many years he played. They're going to see he's been with the same organization the entire time. Then they're going to see how many Super Bowls he won. Then they're going to be like, well, he was also a leader in the locker room.
If he does get in, Kerry, it'll be like way down the line, like 15 years of eligibility. You know.
Sure.
Now, his running mate, who is also nearing the end of his career, who will get into the Hall of Fame, Matthew Slater.
Oh yeah.
This is the greatest special teams player of all time. This not a kicker.
Or a returner. Let's say that.
Yeah.
That's all.
When I say special teams, a returner's a returner. That's not a special teams player. That's
It's literally on special teams.
yeah, but that's Devin Hester. That's
He's a special teamer.
He didn't cover kicks. He's not a gunner. You know.
But it's still all part of special teams, Joe. That's the unit.
You are correct, but when me saying that, you know what the fuck I meant.
You don't even want me. I know what you're saying, but it's still special teams, homie. But okay, I get you.
Well, I mean, Devin Hester's Hall of Fame bus is not going to say special teamer. It's going to say returner, kick returner. It's not going to say special teamer.
It's going to say KR/PR.
Matthew Slater's, it's literally going to say, like Steve Tasker, special team.
Gunner.
Yeah, that's. But Steve Tasker was the first.
So no, let's not say that. Raina Thompson from the G's was one of the illest gunners of all time. Steven Tasker was of that same mold. And yes, Matthew Slater just took it to a whole nother level. Absolute props.
He took that position to a Hall of Fame level was what he
That's what
did.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
He took it to a whole nother level. I mean, he just made every single tackle.
He downs
He had devices on these guys.
He downs every kick. He gets every play. He's all, if there's a muff, he's always on the ball. It's retarded.
Uh-huh.
Always on the muff. You're a child.
Oh, come on. That was a layup. That was low-hanging fruit. Jeez. If there's a muff, he's always on the ball. Come, who you talking to? All right, anyway. But also, though, I'll say this. He is now one of those guys who could go into the locker room because this is who he is. Hey, guys, we could do this, all right?
Yeah.
He is one of those guys.
He earned that, though.
Because he's been an all-pro at that position. He's made the pro every single year at that position. He's an all-pro at that position perennially. So he is, like, I was like, I don't know who that guy is.
There's only one other player who had Hall of Fame special teams credentials. It's Ed Reed, because he blocked so many goddamn kicks.
Oh, well, that is also true.
All right, so I'm about to re-up.
I was just talking about, like, that beta cat who could be like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Well, Matthew Slater bleeds that, so...
He is that, and they would actually listen to him.
Of course he would. So I'm about to send you another link, homie. Make it quick. Oh, see, with the quickness. With the quickness. Beefy, what up, homie? Sliding into part 3. Back with Zoom because Skype sucks. Shout out to Roger Harper. Congratulations. Literally just had a grandchild like 40 minutes ago. So if there was anybody who ever had a good excuse not to be here, it's him. That is for sure. I remember when we first started doing this, it would be like an hour. We could burn through 4 hours easily. I forget what the fuck I was gonna say, so we'll just continue on our way.
Bang.
Falcons and Rams. Falcons come back late. I think that's just the Rams being old and tired.
But also Jalen Ramsey reminding he did his best Roy Jones Jr. Rap song, Y'all Must Have Forgot. And he was like, I love when y'all count me out. I love it. So yeah, good. And also that was a beautiful interception.
Yeah.
I mean, Mariota did get hit and it did affect the throw, but that was a beautiful catch. He high pointed that bitch and he ended the game. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
but also Atlanta for at least fighting.
Yeah.
Because that's different out of them. That's different. And so
it is. They just
something that got me a little interested in them.
Yeah, Mariota's just not the answer. They don't really have a. Listen, I love the fact that Cordell Patterson is getting busy, but that's not a real number one running back.
Of course not.
Drake London is
playing running back.
Yeah, Drake London is a good draft pick. He's proven that he can play. Kyle Pitts is a stud. So they've drafted well the last couple years. They just need a quarterback. Need to keep building. It ain't this season though. The Rams.
I told you, like them getting Mariota at quarterback was them signaling we are tanking for a quarterback next season.
Yeah, they're trying to get C.J. Stroud or the other.
That's cool. Get C.J. Stroud. I want the Giants to get Will Levis out of Kentucky. I've been saying this shit for 2 years.
He puts mayonnaise. Will Levis puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
Yes, he does.
And fuck, I forget what the other weird food thing he does. It's fucking weird. He's weird.
He literally does that?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Good. Give him to me.
Seahawks and Niners, we already talked about it. GBG comes back in, and the Niners instantly look like the Niners of the past few years. This was expected from us. The Seahawks are terrible. I expect nothing else. The Niners moving forward are going to be way more interesting because of Jimmy G at quarterback. George Kittle will be back. Wilson Jr. is now the number one running back for them, so you can get him for cheap because Eli Mitchell's hurt and out for a while.
Eli Mitchell, this is what his running narrative is. This is why I would not pick him. But I just didn't know who was next up because Trey Sermon was getting busy. Then you had Nick Wilson. The stable of running backs and
constantly in the Shanahan offense. Always.
Like you just had to if you just rolled the dice and if you got Wilson Jr., congratulations, you did it. But at some point they're gonna have to play Sermon too because Wilson has also been nicked up and banged up too. So, good luck to you.
Yeah, Bengals and Cowboys, this is kind of a shocker just because we think the Bengals should be better, but their offensive line is so terrible. 7 sacks in this game. I know they have Lawrence Taylor 2.0 over in Dallas now. I get it. Micah Parsons is generational.
He is.
But
I will say this, though.
Mixon, Higgins, Chase, what's the tight end, Hunter, whatever, Hayden
Hurst.
Their offense skill positions are loaded.
No. Yes.
Their offensive line is so terrible that they can't score points.
So much money. But also they're hurt. Leo Collins was out, and then the other another cat was out too, and I get it. But also, here's the thing too. But Bengals defense. This is Cooper Rush, my dudes, my homie guys.
Hey,
what? You had Cooper Rush out there looking like this is what he does every single day, all day. What?
I love it.
What do you do?
I love it because it just fuels the. We don't even need Dak narrative, so we have to listen to this Cowboys bullshit every single fucking week, again.
So now it's gonna be the Cooper Rush, like the Gold Rush. It's gonna be this fucking redhead shit. Let me tell you something. Here was my next problem. So they come all the way back, right? And then my guy T Higgins does his thing, all that. but we're not talking enough about Joey Boyband coming back from an appendectomy. My dude had a surgery, and he really didn't even play in the preseason. So yes, he's gonna be off right now. I'm not looking for him to look like Joey Boyband until Game 6. Actually, 5-6.
I'm starting him this week.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I'm looking like for him to look like full Joey Boyband Game 5-6. He fresh off surgery, y'all, and didn't play preseason.
We're also discounting the Cowboys because their offense is so putrid. How good their defense actually is,
Oh my
because
God, way better. Oh, their defense is fucking.
they held the Bucks out of the end zone essentially, except for a Mike Evans touchdown and a bunch of field goals, and they just did the same thing to the Bengals. Nothing but a bunch of field goals and a touchdown late. So their
Right.
defense is a lot better.
Gotta get there to compete, even though we say he should never be a head coach again. He stayed there, and it made it different.
It did. So the Cowboys defense pretty solid. Cooper Rush, I will give you this as a fantasy nugget. Noah Brown is a high volume target for Cooper Rush because when the backup quarterback, we got to make this the fifth horseman of the apocalypse.
It is.
Because when the backup quarterback gets in,
the wide receiver that he's been practicing with on second or third team, he's gonna be like, "I got you, homie." He already know because they already have a connection. They already know each other.
they've built all the things necessary for you to be successful in the NFL, which is the timing and anticipation and things like that, because the windows are so small. So you saw all those throws from Captain Kirk to Adam Thielen. Every single one was like,
Hey,
I couldn't believe how
when it
close
was
they
with
were.
Jefferson, it was off.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it like that. Because remember, when they had Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen had 100,000 targets, and Stephon Diggs had 20. So so they have that. So I was like, oh, you remember your old dude, and every time you throw it to him, it's like bang bang.
Yeah, really, really strange. I think the Bengals will continue to get better. I just think the narrative around the Cowboys now that Cooper Rush won a game and Dak didn't is hilarious. Dak also had to play against the best defensive unit in football by a mile. Like, by a mile. They are so good at defense that they dictate the game. It's very rare that a defense dictates the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's always an offense.
Well, in this day and age, when you can't hit anybody, especially the quarterback, and everything is pass interference, right?
Yeah, they are. So, and it took they stuck with those safeties and those corners through the bad times.
And I love it. That's why I was like, my man Jamel D. Remember, I used to get on his ass a lot, but now I'm like, that's my guy.
He's playing with all of them are.
I was always gonna like Whitfield.
Yeah, he's a beast. But they have years together, which as a unit you need.
They were legit. And you were saying they should get some kind of name.
They're going to earn one. That's how good they are together. They're good.
What kind of name? You know what? We should say, what kind of name should the defensive backfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have? And have people send in suggestions, and then we'll call them that for the remainder of the year.
Well, because you got to remember
we can't call them that other places, but we'll call them that the remainder of the year on this show.
You got to remember no-fly zone with Talib and Chris Harris and whoever the safeties were. They were.
You had the Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom, disgusting with those guys. That's what I'm saying.
We got to come up with a name.
This secondary is so good.
Right.
If they stay healthy, and then they can pull off a Super Bowl, and it will be because of them. They would warrant all-time great stats because it's incredible.
You got to understand this. It's because normally the entire defensive unit would get a name, but when just a section of the defensive unit gets a name, we talk about something real special.
And then you're talking about something special when your defensive front seven is this fucking loaded and good, and the secondary is the highest performing unit. That's incredible. They're playing so well. That's why I'm saying
And in this moment, I will channel nice Todd Bowles, baby. And he's right.
Todd
Bowles knows how to build a defense. and
Todd
he knows,
Smoker Bowles, baby.
oh,
So
Todd Smoker Bowles, baby.
So the Broncos get a win, which they should have because the Texans just aren't that good, but they will beat a few teams that they're not supposed to, which is going to happen because of Davis
And
Mills.
They were leading in that game. Let me tell you, the Lovie Smith effect will really be felt in year 2. So I hope they keep him. Lovie Smith is the best thing to happen to the Texans in quite some time.
It is, whatever with the Broncos. I don't like Russell Wilson.
I kind of want them to be at the, and not for Russ's sake, but like that head coach, like that whole shit, like
All that shit. It's a disaster right now.
And also the Waltons need to lose one. All right.
Yes.
The Waltons got everything.
Please. Cardinals and Raiders.
Yo, definitely had the Raiders for obvious reasons, and then okay, we want to listen. If we're gonna murder Kyler Murray, then we also got to resurrect him too, because Kyler was like, he was the one who won this game.
Whoever.
He got him in effect. Also, this is pre-video game season, but so we're gonna get the best of Kyler Murray right now, and so we're watching a beautiful thing. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback create 20 seconds of time just to then run it in your face.
2-point conversion.
The second time he did it, he did the Damian Tomlinson like a finger roll.
Kerry, 2-point conversion, 21 seconds.
I've never seen that shit.
Nobody has. Not. So whoever's running the simulation that we exist in was playing with the Cardinals that day on Madden, because that was some video game bullshit that he was doing. He's so small that throw to A.J. Green, he had to look up at the Jumbotron to see if he completed it because he can't see over the lineman.
It was when he was like this, he directed it, and then he ripped it. That was one of the illest throws I've ever seen.
I also think that the Raiders are astonishingly confusing. Devontae Adams, 1 catch? Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why not? Sure.
Okay.
That'll fool everybody.
I'll be honest. I can understand it if Arizona dedicated all of their coverage to him. But it's not like Waller had 15 catches or
Renfro didn't ball out.
Renfro had 15. No. Honestly, when they were up, they didn't even need to throw him. Jacobs should have had 25 carries.
They're just very poorly running. It's McDaniels, which I don't like, but it's just the Raiders.
And he knows better, so I don't get that.
I don't get it either. It made no sense. Like, it just seems like some of these coaches, when they're actually forced to make these decisions in real time, that they just freeze, because you've done this before. You don't get your first day, do you want to be a coach? You're not an NFL head coach, right? So clearly you've been doing this for a very long time, calling plays. You've won 6 fucking Super Bowls. But this is the second stint with McDaniels, and I can't remember the Broncos.
I do too.
Being the same way, either winning late or blowing it late. You're on one. You're on one tonight. I like it.
I will say this, though. I feel like McDaniels was on that shit where this is how we built the league, so this is how we'll continue to run.
I just don't understand.
He didn't switch up his strategy like we have.
Kerry.
And now it's time to bleed.
I understand 17 targets to Devontae Adams in week 1 is a bit much, and you need to distribute the rock in week 2, but 1 catch, one, there, at some point in a game, you're going to have your guy go out and beat somebody one-on-one, and you got him, so he's going to win. So just give him the fucking ball. Be funny, and they deserve to lose this game. Making bad football decisions is why you lose these games. Yeah. They deserved it, and they're 0-2, and they're going to blow my division-winning 8-leg parlay.
And I got to be honest because I feel like more pundits are laying the blame at Derek Carr's feet than at McDaniel's feet, even though he was the one calling the plays. And I know even after all these years, Carr isn't like fuck that. I'm gonna call my own play. He's had multiple offensive coordinators and now multiple head coaches, so it's like he hasn't like earned the right with whatever new coach or coordinator is in there to just like do it. But that's the time when you just gotta be like, yo, that's stupid. He ain't doing that. Yo, Jacobs, do this. Da da da.
So this is Devontae Adams.
That's where that should happen.
Devontae Adams coming from an offense where at literally any given moment, him and Aaron Rodgers would just do whatever they want. They would call a running play and still throw it because the lineman wouldn't make it downfield fast enough for it to be a penalty. And
Right.
they would be the only ones that know it's a pass play. The linemen are literally run blocking. Literally. So now he comes to an offense. Dude, his body language during that game was abysmal. And I was just like thinking, like, I wonder if he regrets this decision.
Oh no, don't. Then you know what that would remind me of? Randy Moss 2.0. When he went there, when Randy was in Minnesota, they already had that mind channeling. They were like, yeah, Randall, Dante Culpepper, who all recognize, oh, this is an all-timer. Whatever you want, Randy. Like, yo, when in doubt, Randy Moss. Like, it didn't even matter what the game plan was. We want to give it to Robert Smith 25 times, but when in doubt, Randy Moss. Even though we got Chris Carter, one of the illest wide receivers of all time.
Mm-mm.
When in doubt, Randy Moss.
Just throw it.
So that's what Devontae had in Green Bay. Ultimately, he did make the right decision because
Long term, yes.
long term, yes. But right now, he's going to feel all that pain because he's remembering what he just left.
But
so his ex-girlfriend is looking real cute right now.
do you think that he could have taken the franchise tag, get a lot of money guaranteed for the one season, and then go next year? I guess McDaniel's coming in and it being a whole new thing, and then like the Chucky era gone and all that is influential.
I'm just saying that he could have done that, but then the sticking point would have been which franchise could have actually had the money to afford whatever contract he would have signed.
This is true, and I know he always wanted to be a Raider, so I guess it makes sense. But like, if I'm looking at,
Oh, he actually always wanted to be a Raider?
he grew up a Raiders fan, he always wanted to be a Raider.
Well then, okay.
Derek
Then-
Carr was his fucking roommate in college. It was like
There's
written.
nothing else to this. Listen, fuck even Derek Carr being his roommate. There's nothing left to discuss.
Yeah.
You always wanted to be a Raider, so eat this. Eat this.
Yeah, he grew
Just
up-
fuck with it.
Yeah, he grew up out in like the Oakland area. That's why he went to Fresno State. So,
Okay, so then you where you supposed to be. Okay, done.
Bears and Packers.
Vegas now. They in Vegas now, so it's different, but
Still a Raiders fan though.
still Raiders.
Bears and Packers. The Bears are terrible. The Packers. Aaron Rodgers never plays well in Week 1 because he's off doing ayahuasca and mushroom seances in the Peruvian jungles and shit like that. So it takes him a while to get up to game speed. It's traditional. He never plays really well in Week 1. So, but also the Bears are terrible. Aaron Rodgers, if they use Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon this effectively and play defense, they're going to be a problem. They just don't have no way to throw it to. Like, no real... They don't have Devontae.
You know what this is gonna have to become? This is gonna have to become a Tunyon heavy offense. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Tunyon, and then like you get your occasional Lazard, and then you see whatever the rookies give you. But they're gonna have to run hard. Make Tunyon your number one target, and then like Lazard your second, and then whatever the rookies give you, they give you. But y'all need to run, and then like have Aaron Jones, the best receiver you have on the team, be your primary option out the backfield, obviously. But yeah. It needs to be him. It needs to be Jones, Tunyon, Lazard, receiving options, and then rookies. but then running, obviously Jones, and then obviously give it to Thighs Almighty.
Yeah. So and their defense is pretty solid. It's the Packers and their division sucks. Although the Lions are going to make the playoffs this year, we called it. Because I know Minnesota's going to be a game under 500 at best, and we know that Chicago was going to suck. So you look around the rest of the NFC, which we did, and we saw, Tampa Bay, the Rams, everybody else can kind of get got in the NFC. So why not the Lions?
Everybody, yeah.
And
they love their coach. I feel like the Lions players love their coach.
This is rare.
More than anybody else. Definitely in the NFC, but maybe in the entire league.
Yeah, Kerry, this is rare that the team rallies around a coach like this, in this style. You'll rally around Belichick because of the absolute and total respect. And if we just do what he says, we'll probably win a fucking Super Bowl. So let's just do what he says. So Parcells was the same thing. Multiple Super Bowls, commanded respect. Joe Gibbs. People who have it and get it done, they command the respect. Shula. Tomlin. 100%.
Never had a losing record, ever. So you listen to that guy.
100%. So Motor City Dan is like when Rex Ryan got his head coaching gig in the beginning.
Jets, oh my God, they would run through steel walls for Rex. And what did they do? He took them close.
Dude, they beat. Hey,
with Mark fucking Sanchez.
Hey, listen, man, they beat the Patriots a few times in the playoffs.
They did.
So
they did.
Yeah.
Because I can't wait. Cause let me tell you something. What made the Jets snake bitten is because 2 seasons in a row, Chris Jenkins, the most dominant defensive tackle in the game at that time, got hurt in 2 consecutive seasons. If he does not get hurt, we may be talking about the Jets very different.
100%. They had Revis Island at full top level play.
Yo, you had LaDainian, and then you had other guy. What was it? Missouri. Oh, I could see his face.
What, the quarterback / receiver?
No, the running back. No, the running back.
I'm gonna say they had Brad Smith at wide receiver too.
Yeah, no, wide receiver. So they had LaDainian, but they had the younger back.
I don't remember because I hate the Jets, but they were. They beat us in the playoffs multiple times. Monday Night Football, 2 games. The Bills are so good.
Sean Green. No Alzheimer's today, baby. Bam.
So, the Bills are for real. They are absolutely loaded. We saw basically previews of what looks like, at least 2 weeks through the season, the best team in each division.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the Bills...
And I told my boy yesterday, I was like, we could be looking at a Bills, Tampa Bay.
Nah, see, you don't want to say it. The Eagles, dude.
But
see, he doesn't want to say it. Loaded. And if you have 2 corners that can play at that level, that allows everyone else on defense to do so much else.
Okay, what are 2 things that I've said multiple times? I've said Eagles were definitely winning the NFC East. And I've also said I need to find a way to get Jalen Hurts in every game. Because I absolutely knew Jalen Hurts was going to be a difference maker this year in a way that the league has not seen him yet. I've already seen this.
The second that they signed A.J. Brown, and I learned that they have been working out in off seasons together since college, and that they tried to go to college together. It just didn't work out.
Day shows something else, yeah.
And they've remained friends and constantly, even as professionals, worked out in the offseason together. And Jalen Hurts is a workout warrior. So that means A.J. Brown is a workout warrior, which you see on the field. He is a monster. The second they signed him, that's exactly who I was drafting. In any league that I could get him, you got him in our league before I could, and I was mad about that. But I did get him in the NFL league, and it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year because,
that rushing touchdown where he was on the sidelines, slowed down, sped back up. He already set the other dude up, and he wasn't even looking at the dude who could have got him on the sidelines. He sped up because he was looking at the dude who was nearest to the goal line because he was like, I'm gonna put my head down and I'm gonna run you over because I can bench press 1,000 pounds.
Strong dude, and
I'm a powerlifting champion. Like, I'm not worried about you, dude.
so you look at the Eagles offensive line, one of the best in the league. Not total secondary, but those two corners looks like Miami of old with who had the two lockdown corners.
And Madison and fucking, I forget the other guy.
Also, side note, Aronde Gatson Jr. getting busy for Syracuse.
Yes.
Yeah, getting busy for Syracuse. That's
Got the winning touchdown.
as soon as I saw his name, I just thought of all those one-handed vertical catches in the back of the end zone that he used to make.
He did.
Retarded with the long socks.
Yeah.
But the Eagles loaded, the Bills loaded. So, all right, best performance from the week. I know who it is in my book, and it's not Tua. I get it. 6 touchdowns, whatever. I don't care. The NFL is built for that now. That's what the Big 12 has been for decades. So I'm used to this shit. Slay had the best game of the week of any NFL football player by far.
None. He shut this dude down.
1-on-1, I've got him, and it's over. He's not getting open today. Best
Done.
first team All-Pro receiver.
Which is funny because and also I know I was getting on Kurt for not going to Cleveland earlier, but think about it. He had Bradbury on. Bradbury's no damn slouch. I mean, and also, like, they were missing the ball by fingertips when he was throwing to Thielen. The widest open person of the night was Irv Smith or Dalvin Cook.
Yes,
right?
Slay played incredible.
Slay gave a master class on how to play corner last night. I haven't seen a performance at corner like that in a long time.
Since Revis.
Yeah, right. It's like someone who's just like, oh, you gonna keep coming at me? Okay, well, watch this. Oh, you still don't believe? Well, watch this. I'm either going to knock it down or I'm going to pick it. Either one.
Incredible performance coming from
It was. Like, bar none. Like, that was it. There was a lot of offensive numbers put up this week, but that was the most dominating performance I saw on one person, one number one, versus another number one that I've seen in a long time.
Well, the reason that I put it as the best performance of the week is because the offensive numbers that are being put up are so retarded that this guy went out and did that.
Mm-hmm.
Masterpiece. He gave up one fucking catch. One.
He had the proper name of the day. Slay.
Big play Slay. Shout out to Big Play Willie Clay, Lindsley High School, Wheeling, West Virginia.
Made it to the league.
And had
had
a very good career.
Yes, he did.
It's funny because the two kids from Lindsley High School that made it to the NFL both ended up playing for the Lions.
Ain't that some shit?
Only 2 of them, and they both ended up for the Lions.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's crazy.
That's interesting. All right, so let's look ahead to next week. This is always fun to prognosticate. There we go, week 3. Already week 3. It's moving. The NFL season moves so quick.
It does.
So fucking fast. So Thursday night football, Pittsburgh at Cleveland, rivalry game. This will be Money Making Mitch's. Is it going to be his last performance?
So we're talking about Mitch Trubisky versus Briskets.
Jacoby Briskets. Trubisky's
versus Briskets.
Cleveland's has 2 of the best top 5 running backs in the NFL are both in their backfield.
And we're talking no TJ Watt.
Yeah, just run the ball. I'm going with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Houston at Chicago. Toilet bowl game. 2 of the worst teams in football. I'm going to go with Houston because they...
I'll just go with H-Town because Davis Mills at this point, I do really like Justin Fields. I feel like we're not seeing what he is just yet.
No, but this Kerry,
whole
this is
team is trash.
this is one of those games that Houston gets, and this is how at the end of the season you look and you're like, they won 6 games. I remember that.
But I also said, I was like, Houston's actually not going to suck as hard as everybody thinks they are. There's going to be another team that's going to be worse than them.
Oh yeah, and it's Chicago.
Probably.
There you go. That's easy. The Raiders at Tennessee. The Ryan Tannehill era may be coming to an end very soon. They can't get Derrick Henry to do anything because they don't have anybody on offense to throw to, and the quarterback is not a threat to do anything spectacular. So I'm going with the Raiders because now Devontae Adams is going to have 24 targets because he just had 1 in the last game. So this is how it works.
Well, I'll say this.
Too much talent in Vegas.
Yeah, I'll say this. Titans coach is a throwback. He's an old school guy.
Yeah, their team is a throwaway though, so yeah, fuck them.
I know he probably went to Tannehill and told him, reassured him the job is still his, but they're going to have to start implementing Malik Willis into the offense, just even intermittently, to really help out King Henry to have some sort of running game. Because if you just have Derrick Henry back there, they're going to load up the box and you're not going to do anything. And even though I do like Treylon Burks, and then they have another rookie that they really like.
Oh my God.
They're just putting them in spot places, and
we're talking about a really bad football team for too long. I hate it. They suck. Kansas City at Indianapolis. The Colts are terrible. Kansas City is going to blow them out.
Wait, what did you say?
I said Kansas City at Indy. Chiefs are going to blow them out. This is another terrible football team. Buffalo at Miami, probably the game of the week. They're going to both put up 50. It's going to be an absolute total fucking shootout. It could be a who has the ball last scenario. I'm going to go with Buffalo just because of the 2 safeties. Their 2 best players on defense are going to be responsible for the back end of the football field.
Boyer or dope. Oh, they're just so dope.
That's what I'm saying. That
is the best safety tandem, period.
Yeah, easily.
They're all pros. They're amazing.
So they're going to be responsible for the back half of the football field, which is where Waddle and Tyreek Hill eat. So I'm going to go with Buffalo. It is in Miami. It could be hot and disgusting, but I don't think Buffalo cares. Von Miller gave an interview where he says Buffalo does not care if they're up 40. They're still trying to score. They are going for people's throats this year. No let up, all gas. Sounds like the Patriots of old.
Von Miller also from Texas, so he don't give a shit about them.
Wow, this is true. Detroit at Minnesota. I'm going with the Lions. Jared Goff and that offense have found something.
Who knew they'd be throwing L's for a good reason?
Yeah, and I hate Captain Kirk. I hate the whole idea of him playing football. I hate watching him play. I hate how he manages a football game. I hate it. Baltimore at New England. Everything in me wants to say Baltimore football sense-wise, but Baltimore's defense is fucking terrible. They have one of the worst defensive units in football statistically. They're really bad. This isn't the old Baltimore. This is a whole different thing. So, if the Patriots don't make mistakes, which they rarely do, and could get a turnover or 2, they can sneak away and get this game. It's just Lamar is on a mission, so I'm going with the Ravens. And we're just not that good. We're not that good.
I'm looking at the playmaker situation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the playmakers on the way.
I just think it would be a death by 1,000 paper cuts. Damian Harris has 90 yards on 17 carries. And
Chinese water torture.
Yeah, Stevenson has 80 yards or something, and Hunter Henry finally gets involved. If they play to their strengths instead of trying to be what they're not.
Hunter Henry will have 83 yards this game.
Cincinnati at New York. Everything in me wants to go with the Jets because Cincinnati's offensive line is the worst in football, and if you can't block for your quarterback, they're not going to beat anybody.
Got Quentin Williams. They got motivated defenders.
Salah's a defensive guy. He's their team motivator. I'm going with the Jets on this one. I think it's over for Cincinnati. They're going to struggle this year. Huge Super Bowl regression from them. Huge. Like,
Joey Boyband Burrow is not fully healed yet.
Joey
And-
Boyband is going to be the next Andrew Luck and be an incredible football player who just can't. They don't keep upright, and his career is going to end up short.
Well, then, I mean, it's looking even worse than that. It's looking more David Carrish when he was the first pick of the Texans, and he got battered into the dirt. Like,
Yeah, it's not looking good, dude.
It ended all chances for him to be an actual good player.
Eagles at Washington. I'm going with the Eagles because they are playing at the very high level right now, and Carson Wentz is going to Carson Wentz. Easy one. Saints at Carolina. This is another game of good defenses and terrible quarterback play. So it's going to be take the under on this one. I'm actually going to go with Carolina because Jameis is going to do something to blow this game late, and the Panthers are literally 2 53 or longer yard field goals away from being 2-0.
Right.
So they're right there.
That defense is way better than what people think.
Yeah, Baker does have turnovers, so you're going to have a short field on the defense a few times. They're better than their record, that's for sure. Jacksonville at the Chargers. Jacksonville's offense is solid. Their defense is really good, but if Keenan Allen's playing, this is a whole different offense. If he's not playing, Justin Herbert's so fucking good. I don't think he's still going to have like 350 yards and whatever. Look for Everett to get more involved in because Keenan Allen's out. That's a good tight end pickup.
Herbert is ready to rock and roll.
He played through the rest of that game. He's probably going to play.
Yeah, but this is a whole other game.
Yeah, and I don't know. Jacksonville's pretty fucking physical, man. He might take some thumping in this one. So we shall see. If he doesn't play, then we're going with Jacksonville, of course. They're too good for Daniels to come in and win this game. Even though
Daniels won't win that game against Jackson.
Even though the Chargers' defense is loaded, Jacksonville is pretty fucking good. Rams at Arizona. I don't know. Flip a fucking coin. We don't know with Arizona what we're going to fucking get, dude. We have no idea.
And we don't know what we're going to get from the Rams either.
Flip a coin. Atlanta.
Came back on them hardcore.
Yeah, Atlanta at Seattle. I'm going to go with Atlanta because their defense is pretty fucking solid. And Seattle's just...
Still has...
That Russ game was their Super Bowl. Beating Russ in Seattle was their Super Bowl.
That was Pete Carroll all the way. And now we have to lean on Gino.
Yeah, they suck. Green Bay at Tampa. I'm actually going to go with Green Bay on this one because Mike Evans is suspended, and I don't know if Chris Godwin or Julio Jones are going to be playing because they just picked up Cole Beasley. Green Bay's defense is pretty solid. Who the fuck's Tom going to throw it to? Who?
Gronk comes back this week.
I don't know if it's going to be that quick. I'm actually going to go with the Packers on this one, even though, Tampa Bay's defense is incredible, but Tom just doesn't have anybody.
Also, guys, come up with a name for the Tampa Bay secondary. Come up with a one. We will use it on this channel.
All right, we got less than a minute. San Francisco at Denver. Jimmy G's in control now. San Francisco in a landslide. They're going to fucking take off. It's Monday Night Football. You got to love this one. Your most hated team against your most favorite team.
I mean, when it comes to most hated, fuck Dallas, but I think my most hated is Philly.
Yeah, probably. But everybody hates Dallas.
Because actually, they're the actual threat. Dallas hasn't been a threat for multiple decades.
So I'm going to go with the Giants on this one because your defense is pretty solid. They're going to step up to the moment. It's Daboll's team now.
Be honest with you.
You got to start 3-0. Incredible.
There's a player who troubles me. A player who should be wearing G's blue. Micah Parsons, who we had a grand opportunity to take, but we passed because we wanted to go down and then draft Kadarius Toney, who we don't even use. So.
Well, the Cowboys have nobody, and we got no more time. So I will see you soon, homie. I'll take that W in the fantasy. I got one, you got one. We went 50-50.
We split. Don't act like you just like...
Yeah, I know, but the one that everybody who... the one that everybody who watches this is actually in, I got the victory, and that's all that matters. Yeah. Hey, we both got victories in the NFL league. Important. I told you I'm going to walk through the next 2 weeks. I should be 3-1.
Roger Harper, congratulations.
Congrats, Roger Harper. I will see all you guys next week.
Bang, bang, boogie.
Yeah. All right, we made it just under the limit. Yeah, congratulations, Roger Harper. That's fucking dope. NFL football. I don't know what else you want. The weather is impeccable. It's hoodie season. You know what that means. Till then, keep fighting the good fight. RIPP 333. I'll see you for morning meditation in the morning.